17-year-old Andrew Thompson had just clocked out from his part-time job at Harper's Groceries. With his provisional license proudly tucked in his wallet, he slid into his mom's old sedan, starting the engine carefully. He drove cautiously through the quiet streets, making sure to obey the 35-mile-per-hour speed limit. But as he approached Elm Street, the sudden flash of red and blue lights lit up his rearview mirror. At first, Andrew thought it might be someone else, but the blaring siren made it clear. His heart skipped a beat. He slowed down, pulled over to the side of the road, and waited, hands visible on the wheel. His mom's voice echoed in his mind. "Stay calm, stay polite." Officer Travis Gardner stepped out of his patrol car. The crunch of his heavy boots on gravel made Andrew tense. "License and registration," Gardner demanded, leaning into the window. Andrew handed over the papers, trying to stay composed. "What's the problem, officer?" he asked. "You were speeding," Gardner replied bluntly. Andrew frowned. "No, I wasn't. I've been driving at 35 miles per hour, just like the sign says." Gardner's eyes narrowed. "Are you questioning my judgment, kid?" "No, sir," Andrew responded quickly but firmly. "I'm just saying I followed the speed limit." For a long moment, Gardner said nothing. Then he straightened up. "Step out of the car." Andrew froze, confused. "Am I being detained?" "Step out of the vehicle," Gardner repeated, his tone sharper now. People began to slow down as they passed, watching the scene unfold. Gardner seemed to grow impatient with the attention. Before Andrew could react, the officer grabbed his arm and cuffed him, pushing him toward the patrol car. "This is unnecessary," Andrew protested, but Gardner ignored him. "We'll sort it out at the station," he muttered, shoving him into the back seat. As the cruiser sped toward the Crestwood police station, Andrew's mind raced. What had just happened? Why was he being treated like this when he'd done nothing wrong? Inside the station, Officer Gardner walked him toward the holding area, his face full of smug confidence. Sergeant Maria Lopez looked up from her desk when they entered. "Travis, what's going on?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. "Caught him speeding on Elm Street," Gardner said with a shrug. Lopez's gaze shifted to Andrew. "What's your name, kid?" "Andrew Thompson," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "I wasn't speeding. I was doing 35 inches. Lopez sighed, clearly used to Gardner's antics. "Let me see his paperwork." Gardner handed her the documents. Just then, a voice boomed from the hallway. "Sergeant!" Everyone turned as Chief Malcolm Thompson walked into the room, his eyes landing on Andrew. Andrew's stomach dropped. "Dad?" Chief Thompson froze, staring at his son. "Andrew, what's going on here?" Before Gardner could say anything, Lopez spoke up. "Officer Gardner brought him in for speeding, but everything checks out. His license is fine, and there's no evidence of speeding." Andrew's father turned to Gardner. "Why was my son arrested?" Gardner hesitated, clearly uncomfortable. "He was being uncooperative." "Uncooperative." Chief Thompson's voice dropped. "Or was it something else?" The room went silent. Gardner shifted in his seat, his hesitation speaking volumes. "Release my son," Chief Thompson ordered. Lopez didn't hesitate, removing the cuffs. Andrew looked at his dad, confused. "I didn't do anything wrong." "I know, son," Thompson said, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We'll take care of this." After a tense meeting with the department, Chief Thompson stood firm. "A couple of hours ago, my son was wrongfully arrested. But this isn't just about him, it's part of a larger pattern." Gardner shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Thompson's voice grew firm. "Officer Gardner, your actions were unjustified and biased. This department will not stand for it." By the end of the meeting, Gardner's suspension was announced. Andrew, now free of all accusations, left the station with his dad. "Thanks, Dad," Andrew said softly. Thompson smiled. "No one deserves to be treated unfairly, Andrew. Not you, not anyone." And that was the end of Andrew's nightmare. A day that had begun like any other had turned into a fight for justice. Thanks to his dad, Andrew knew this wasn't over. The truth had come out, and now they were ready to move forward.